right, ladies, thank you for coming today and watching our wonderful series we have on stylists as well as hostesses, just to getting some good information to help us along the way to really have some great conversations with our hostess. But you know me, I'm Kelly Jones, but let me introduce who we have our guests here, and I'm gonna let them introduce themselves first. So who would like to go first?
Well, I can. I'm Jennifer. Oops, go ahead. So I'm Jennifer Zeppelin, and I am a cabi stylist in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Flower Mound, Texas. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Kylie.
Yeah, so my name's Kylie Muller, and I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I have been buying cabi for, I don't know, maybe 5 years, but just keep coming back to it.
Yeah, that's what we all do, is to close. And that relationship, of course. So how did you guys meet?
Well, it was another stylist that actually connected us together because we both live in the North Dallas area. And so our first show was here not that long ago, literally just probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had so much fun. Kylie did an amazing job. So Kylie, why don't you take it away and tell us more about just kind of how you got all these women to join us? Because we had about 11 gals who actually joined her event.
Yeah, you know, I think sometimes it's luck of the draw, but I will say this time I did something different because it's hard in a city this big where people sometimes have to drive far, or, you know, everybody's so busy. But I got a really good group of neighbor ladies. We do a lot of fun stuff in our neighborhood here. So I did most of my invites for this party via text first. So I tried to, like, you know, get them one-on-one, because in the past I've tried to do big Facebook invites, you know, like an event. But I feel like maybe that's almost too broad and not as personal. So I was texting everybody first, trying to get buy-in for this event. So I started close with a bunch of neighbor gals, and then I've got a couple groups of lady friends that are either moms of kids, you know, through that. And, you know, just try to keep it to people that lived a little bit closer in general. Those are mostly people who came. But yeah, I think maybe starting with the texting or phone calls is a little better than just the Facebook invite.
I see, you just wanted a little bit more personal, and so you utilize that. And so with knowing that you use text, is that something, again, Jennifer, did you provide that for her, or that's something you just created, Kylie?
So I ended up putting text together for her, but then I'm sure she ended up doing her own thing too. So Kylie, talk about what you did.
Well, I've got some groups of ladies in the area that we have big group text that we, you know, are kind of used to communicating that way. So I wanted to go that way. And honestly, I mean, with cabi, you know, I was kind of trying to think about which of my friends are willing to spend a little cash, because cabi's not the least expensive brand out there. So, you know, trying to think of who might be a good audience for the clothing line.
I love that you kind of really thought that through too, you know, and again, and we always tell people, we don't make assumptions, but you do have to, you know, who's going to love this, you know, who's going to love the brand, who's going to really understand, again, what our really uniqueness about cabi is. And then we have a lot of that, of course. And it's not just that, of course, it's relationships, and you have built that of your own, Kylie, of your own prior to Jennifer, because you hosted before, you said prior to Jennifer.
Yeah, I was referred to another host who lived actually in Oklahoma. So she wasn't, you know, the closest rep to have. So then she linked us together since we're in the same town.
I love that. I love that. Wonderful. Now, was this show? Oh, go ahead, Jennifer.
Kelly, and I hate to jump in, but I just wanted to also say that, you know, when I did ask how many women that she, you know, invited and that did come, there was at least half of the group, wouldn't you admit, Kylie, that really had never heard of cabi before or had never bought cabi before. So I thought that was such a huge thing too, that we had such a great mix of women there.
Yeah, we definitely had some newbies and some old timers. So
yes. And it's all about, again, exposing more and more women to this great brand. So we're loving that. Now, was this in person or virtual, ladies? How did this go?
It was in person. I hosted at my house. So we just did a Sunday afternoon and had a few snacks and a few bottles of wine and told the ladies to come hang out. So.
And what we did provide too, Kelly, is that we were going to do this also as a combined Zoom event, but then it got a little bit larger than we expected, which we were super excited that we had so many women that actually joined us in person. So the ladies that we had set up on Zoom, I had already pre-recorded a Zoom event that I had done prior to Kylie's event. And then I shared that with them afterwards, so that those ladies that couldn't join us in person, whether it was some of her friends that were in town or those that were out of town guests, then I was able to share that with them as well.
What a way to broaden your reach. That was perfect. That was perfect that you even had that there. So again, you just not extended it just in person. You really kind of really pushed it out there to other women that weren't able to make it, of course. And so that virtual opportunity for you to even record yourself, love that. That's a great tip for sure. Now, let me ask you, Kiley, why do you love hosting?
I love any excuse to get friends together. I'm very social. I'm a salesperson myself. So, hey, it's an excuse to hang out with friends. And obviously the perks of being a host and getting all my products pretty much half off is pretty nice.
That's the best.
Yeah, right. Perfect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that too. And then you still mentioned connecting. You like hosting. And so you like bringing your girlfriends together and doing something. What a perfect, I guess, avenue or vehicle that we offer to bring our girlfriends together for something fun. And of course, wine. We know how that works. So we said you had 11 people there. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, there were several that committed yes that backed out last minute too. So that's, it's so hard to gauge interest sometimes. You really need to get some verbal commits.
Right.
But so we ended up with a really good turnout, which is fun.
Fantastic. So tell me afterwards how the sales go.
They went well. So yeah, I would say that there were probably at least 3 or 4 of the gals that had never bought cabi before that purchased cabi. And then there were some long time, as she was saying, some old timers on the cabi list that really, did buy a lot. So we were super excited about that as well. So yeah, it turned out to be a really great show. So I am just super grateful. This is our first time to host and hostess and stylist together. So it was just really an awesome event, and I look forward to the fall, Kiley.
Oh yeah. Oh, that absolutely. You got to do fall. And with that said, those newbies that came, what was their experience? I know every time I hear a newbie.
Jennifer, I know you were kind of talking to some folks one-on-one. To me, it's so, you can look at actually, I will say the video thing that Jennifer set up where she linked into my TV and was projecting like a fashion show as she was talking about it. It was really cool. Because, those models always look so good in all their outfits. So it's fun to see how they dress them up. But I just think you have to feel and touch the clothes. It's so much easier to fall in love with them that way, because the virtual thing's nice. And it's okay when you see people modeling that helps. But sometimes it's, they feel so soft, you got to feel how comfortable they are. And I don't know, I just think that helps so much to be able to touch it, feel it, put it on.
And I love doing that combo, Kelly, like that.
I was about to say that.
Showing cabi has just done a tremendous job in providing us with those videos. And maybe my TV background kind of helps a little bit with it.
Yeah,
I
was
love
pretty impressed.
doing that part of it. Thank you. But it's just such a great resource that cabi provides to us that I think even if you don't present it, with the clothes itself, I think somehow, some way you need to incorporate that in your presentations.
I agree. The hybrid has just really taken us to another level of offering that. So especially women who can't come. Remember those days? You're like, oh, they missed it. What do we do? Now we can kind of shoot that out there to really show them some other opportunities to reach to us. So did anybody use cabi tap? So Kiley, have you used cabi tap yet?
I've had the app for several years. So I always like to go on their favorite things and just kind of mark some of the stuff I like before I have if I don't have a show or whatever. But I don't know how many people in our group had it, but I know I've had it for a while.
Yes, actually, we did end up having a pretty good group of gals that signed up for it, even some of the first timers. But I've also provided this little card that I put together, my services. So it's a postcard, but it's also got my QR code with the cabi tap app on the bottom of it. So it's another easy way for women to be able to link right up to my cabi tap app. And I thought that was just another, easy resource to be able to give them right there on the spot.
I love that. That is perfect. Good. You're giving us some great tips. I'm about to use those for our next show. So, for sure. That's fantastic. Now, let me say this to Kiley. What did you think about our business? Since you've been a hostess for about, 5 years, you said. What do you think about the business model of cabi?
I don't have time for extra business personally, but I mean, for those that love to do it, I don't feel like I'm good at doing the fashion piece. So I love that people like you guys like to do that. So we can see you put the outfits together and get ideas and not have to do it ourselves. So, you know, I like participating. I like hosting or buying the clothes, but yeah.
Okay, I love that. And Jennifer, for you, a good question. Why cabi?
Well, you know what? That Oklahoma stylist, Lori Glass, have to, a big shout out to her because she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And she's my team leader. And so, you know, she just kind of worked with me for a long time. I've been wearing cabi for about 11 years now. And I was transitioning out of TV into moving actually during the pandemic, and decided that this was something that I thought that I would really like to do. So it's just, I love women. I love connecting with women. I love meeting new women. And so I thought this was a great opportunity for me to transition out of one career into another.
What a great opportunity. I love it. I mean, you took your personality that you're so have a big personality anyway, right into something perfect, into fashion. I love that. I love that. Well, ladies, did want to keep you, but I want to thank you so much because you gave me some great information. I'm sure other stylists will take this and really implement things that you've offered. And they love to hear that. And Kiley, thank you again for continue hosting. Of course, we see you back in the fall, like Jennifer said. For sure. So, well, ladies, have a wonderful day. I appreciate you both being here and taking the time to help us out.
Thank you, Kylie, and thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
All right.
Guys.
Thank you.